Today I want to step outside the studio and talk about greens. A lot of nature has green. How do we paint this in an interesting way? Today I'm not going to paint a painting, but I am going to show you how to mix greens, beautiful nuanced greens that will help you paint any scene. Okay, so I have a gray little background here. This is ultramarine blue. This is phthalo green. Now phthalo green, of course, is kind of like a cheating color. It's going to get us to green right off the bat, but it's really strong and it'll help when we mix in yellow and orange and even red. These are going to create amazing, beautiful colors. The blue and the white, titanium white. This is cadmium yellow light. This is cadmium orange, and this is quinacridone red. Now, it doesn't really matter the exact colors. The point that I'm going to try to show you today and what I want you to learn is how taking these colors are going to mix a different green. You can't just say, how do you make green? Well, you mix blue and yellow. Well, blue and yellow, depending on which blue, which yellow. I wanted to do this on a gray background so you could see the color, not with white, because white would be super, super bright on here. But let's just go like this. We know that we have this phthalo green, super strong color. If we put this down straight, it's going to be so strong. Like over gray, it's not going to be too crazy because the gray will kind of mute it down a little bit even, but you can see it's still a strong color here. And of course, if we want to get these colors really, really thick and opaque, we need to put on more, maybe a couple coats of this. But you can see, okay, this is getting to be a darker value here. But what I look for when I'm looking at a scene, like it's right out here in front of us, I'm going to look for variations. I'm going to try to exaggerate those variations. So I would probably very, very rarely, I don't know if I would ever use this color on its own, straight like it is. I would almost always be grabbing something else to mix in with it. So if I want to make this cooler color, like say this is a shadow color, I'm going to mix in some of this blue. Let's add a little bit of blue to this. This is going to make it more of a blue-green, of course. Ultramarine is, even though it's very colorful, it's not quite as saturated as the ultra or the phthalo green. The phthalo green is a very strong color. Now, if I was to go the other direction, and I'll just grab a different brush so that I can do that. This is the very most basic way that if you had a green, you could pull it one way by adding blue, and you could push it the other way by adding some yellow. So let's just see what happens. We add a little bit of yellow. Okay, look, so you see how bright that color is? Because phthalo green is a super strong color. I haven't added any white to it yet, so it's just pure color with pure color. And we can see this is going really strong in that direction. The more yellow that I add to it, the lighter it's going to get, the more yellow-green it's going to become. But you can see already, I mean, very beautiful colors, but they're very saturated too. So if we're wanting to make a nuanced painting and create something that has a little bit more variety and something that can work, the reason this looks so beautiful, one of the reasons is that this is gray. So these colors look colorful against the gray, but what we want to do is we want to grab some other variations built off these that add a little bit more of that gray tone into it. Those saturated colors will look more beautiful as we add some more grays to the mix. And how do we add grays? Well, we can, instead of just grabbing gray and mixing it, and what you could do, you can also add the complementary color. Now look what happens. I just added a little bit of white. So if all I did was add a little bit of white to this, let's look and see how interesting that color becomes all of a sudden. Now that's a little bit more blue than green, so let's add a little bit more of the green back into it. Now this color, because it doesn't have any complementary color in it, it's very, very colorful still, even though it's got the white muting it down. Though the phthalo is such a strong color that it can handle quite a bit of white and still retain a vibrancy. So do you see how these colors are lighter, but they're still vibrant, very vibrant in fact. And as we move more toward the yellow, I'll start mixing in some of this yellow. This is going to show us just a little bit more of how the yellow is still bright and vibrant. The green is still bright and vibrant, but it's moving up in the values, right? It's becoming lighter compared to what we mixed before. And we can take this quite a ways. We still have a long way to go. This is, oops, I should mix that a little bit more just so we see that in a more pure mix. But do you see how colorful and beautiful that is? And again, the only thing we've done so far, we haven't added the grays yet at all. All we've done is we've added white. And the white is lightening it, of course, and it is making it more, a little bit more muted, but because the phthalo is so strong, there's still quite colorful and beautiful mixes there. So I'm gonna take this, I guess, a little bit more in this other direction also, just to keep it even on this side. Just add a little bit of the blue down on that end. Okay, now I'm gonna wash this brush a tiny bit. And then on this side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start mixing a few more of these nuance colors. So let's just see what happens if we take this color. It's this light yellow with a little bit of the green. We're just mixing up a nice light yellow. Let's put this over here somewhere. It's very vibrant and colorful that way, but let's mix a little bit of orange into it. This is cadmium orange being mixed in. Okay, and all of a sudden that becomes a warmer greenish color, right? More brownish now. Do you see how different that is becoming? So think about the grasses that are down on the ground. Think about some of the dried areas of the branches or of the leaves, and how that might work. See, if I add a little bit of green into this with some of this more orange, it's gonna make it deeper a little bit. Oh, that wasn't too much. I actually didn't add that much. Ooh, this is drying out on me. So you can see how quickly it's drying on in this outside weather. But do you see how that's actually a really beautiful color there. I hope that you can see this. Oh yeah, you can't see it well. Okay, I was just getting a little bit worried. And see what happens if I add this blue. This blue with this orange is actually gonna make it even more muted and dull. This green is a strong color, it's gonna mix, but the blue is actually gonna turn it to be even a little bit more like a gray. It's gonna be the complementary color of this orange, and it's going to make it more like a dirty, grayed green color. And I probably need to add a little bit more of the blue in. And so at a certain point you start thinking, well, is that green anymore, right? I mean, when does it turn to brown? And I guess you can make that argument that maybe it's not green at a certain point, but in this case, to me, what I'm looking for is variation. I'm looking for nuance things. I'm looking for, how do I take a scene that to an average untrained eye you might just say it's green. You might just make a blanket statement like it's green. It's just all green. And how do you start to begin to see, actually, it's not just green. There's all these variations of green. Blue greens, yellow greens, reddish. I mean, reddish green would not really exist because that's the complement of green, but you can mix red in. I mean, orange is just red and yellow put together, right? So how do we make that into something in here? Well, it becomes a darker variation. In fact, one of the coolest colors that you can mix is this right here, this red, quinacridone red, with this green right here, and we're gonna get a ultra dark, almost, it's not black, but it's a very dark color. Let's look at this. Look at how dark that color is right there. And again, this is just putting two complementary colors together. How does it look when we lighten it a little bit? Let's see. It's becoming more like a gray. Let's add a little bit more light to it, a little bit more white, and it's looking kind of like a steel gray. Add a little bit more. It's not looking green, is it? Because as we added the red, it's the exact complement to the green. So it's not really pulled in any direction. It almost looks perfectly gray to me. It's got a little bit of a blue tint, but let's take a little bit of this green and mix it in. And this is going to pull it a little bit more toward the green, but it's still very much like a bluish gray. It's all just so interesting and fascinating to me. But do you see how if you learn how to play around with some limited colors like this, let's add a little bit of yellow into this. Let's just keep playing. Let's just keep playing with this. Now, it's not really making sense logically where I'm putting some of these colors and values and stuff, because I kind of started out with a bit of a pattern and it's not really following it anymore. But you can still see how beautiful and varied these colors are, right? They're just so fun and interesting and gorgeous and nuanced. And you keep going with this. I mean, don't they all work together? For real. I don't think that you can mix a bad color in here. I think that as long as you stay within a family, a limited family of colors, you've got primary colors, so of course those are going to work. And I do have two secondary colors with the orange and the green, but I feel like as long as I mix most of my colors together and I don't go really far to the extreme, like that's why I say I hardly ever would ever even get close to using phthalo green totally on its own, just because I think that you're starting to enter a little bit of a danger zone of maybe potentially going outside the family unit as the colors are related, and so it might start looking a little bit wacky if you do that. But when I look at this and I just think, oh my goodness, look at this variation, look at the colors that are here, look at the nuances, look at how amazing this is. I mean, I just cannot begin to get over how much I love color, and I love playing around with this stuff and just seeing exactly how it works. I mean, bright colors here, bright colors, beautiful variations. So when you come outside and you start wondering, how do I create these things? Now, one thing I want to do, I'm gonna grab something that's a little bit more on the orangish side, and I'm gonna try to create some, these would be like the dried grasses. Let's add a little bit of this orange. That's probably a little bit more than I wanted. This is moving away from green a little bit, so I'm gonna throw a little bit more green in here. But let's see what happens over here with some of this. This is gonna move a little bit more towards green as we go. And just bring a little bit more of the phthalo in. Oh man, again, it's so fun. This is like a playground. I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to color. I'm sure that's one of the things that draws you to art as well, is just the beauty of these colors. So let's add just a little bit more yellow into this mix. Let's see what happens if we make it just see, like, oh my goodness, just gorgeous, gorgeous. Totally beautiful, totally interesting. And we haven't even hit the limit. I mean, we have so much more that we could do. Like for real, we haven't put in a pure yellow up here, like, or anything that's like as vibrant as it could get. We haven't gone around the edges completely, but we're seeing how amazing this is. Let's just keep going, having fun. Orange and blue mixed together. Let's add in some more of this green. Let's fill that in. Let's add some more of the green. See, it's still different. They're all different. They're all moving a little bit differently. They're interacting a little bit differently. Let's get some more of this blue in here. Let's pull it a little bit deeper. Add a little bit of the red. This is going to be like almost like a violet. It's going to come up this other side. Okay, and instead of adding phthalo green in, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start adding yellow. And let's go up this side with adding some yellow. And again, if I compare this color to these other colors, they're different. I'm going to add some white into this. It's a gray green that's slightly different than all these. Just slightly different. Let's add some yellow, add some white. Let's keep moving it. Let's cover this whole entire little paper. A little bit more white, a little bit more yellow. Oh my goodness. You see it. You see it. I know you see it. So what I recommend is taking just a piece of paper like this, doing something like this as an exercise, making note, what are the colors that I used for this exercise? And playing around with this until you understand that it's not just mixing a green. I mean, look at this. Now, I might have a hard time. This is the red and green mixed together to make almost a black. And then this looks almost violet against all these other colors, right? This color here, that might be a stretch to call that a green, but as it moves with a little bit more of the green in there, I think we can call, most of these are variations on green. They're blue greens, they're yellow greens, they're dirty greens, they're brownish greens, some of them are gray greens. But look at that. I know we didn't paint anything, but we painted everything at the same time. With a simple palette like this, you could go out into the world and you could paint literally any scene anywhere. Now, if you were in the desert, you might not have this exact palette. You might opt for more things that are earthy, reds, things like that. But I'm saying, if you're trying to paint luscious plants, foliage, scenes like that, a simple palette like this, you can push in almost any direction and you can paint almost anything.